This is CNN.
All right, one other thing to clear up. Yesterday, the Senate chair and vice chair of the Intel Committee said that they understood they'd been in contact with you, and I assume it's you, the lawyers, and Mr. Cohen, about perhaps new testimony involving the infamous Trump Tower meeting. You had said that he had information on that, but the two senators said that Mr. Cohen's testimony, that he stands by it and doesn't change, which means does he have information about that meeting or not? And is it accurate that his testimony his testimony that he gave 6 months ago to the Senate Intel Committee is still accurate?
The testimony was accurate. You noted something that I said. In fact, what I said was, I'm not the source and I can't confirm that story. And at some point, all of the story will be able to be told. I can't go into it any further now, but his testimony was accurate.
Welcome everyone to another installment of Neo Unrealist. It's been a while since we've talked about a huge instance of CNN fake news on this channel. And here we have a doozy that's unfolded over the course of a month, but it's just in recent days where it's just absolutely fallen apart. Leaving CNN with egg all over their face like some kind of fake news bukkake. July 26, 2018, you had Jim Scudo, Carl Bernstein, yep, that's Carl Bernstein of Watergate fame, Michael Cohen reporting for CNN on Chris Cuomo's show, of all places, that Michael Cohen claims Donald Trump knew in advance of the infamous 2016 Trump Tower meeting. Now, for some reason, Democrats had long pinned all their insane hopes and dreams of removing Trump from office on this meeting, which wasn't illegal and nothing of substance occurred at it. So, whatever they may or may not believe about that meeting, it's a moot point, though, as President Trump, he wasn't present for the meeting, and to this day, no one could show he even knew about it beforehand. Now, as you can imagine, when CNN reported at the end of July that Cohen was changing his story, remember, he'd already testified under oath that Trump did not know about the meeting beforehand. This caused a frenzy in the media, and a whole series of stories came out seeming to confirm CNN's original reporting. Or did it? In a massive clusterfuck and dumpster fire, it seems that the story was largely, if not entirely, based on the word of the shady, slimy, smarmy, Clinton-connected lawyer, Lanny Davis. Not that you'd know it at the time, because CNN didn't name Lanny Davis as their source, citing instead quote-unquote anonymous sources. Now, when asked about this on the air on CNN last week, Lanny Davis said he was not the source for the CNN story. I mean, this is insane. He lied on the air that he was CNN's source. He did that on CNN. CNN knew he was their anonymous source. They let his lie stand. Now this week, in an interview with the Washington Post, Lanny Davis admits that he lied about not being CNN's source in the July story, and that the claim that Cohen would say that Trump knew about the Trump Tower meeting before it happened wasn't true. So now that Lanny Davis has publicly admitted that he lied, and he's backtracking from the claim that Michael Cohen would testify that Trump knew about the meeting in advance, both the New York Post and the Washington Post have outed him as their anonymous source and published an apology from Lanny Davis for his lying. I mean, think about that. How many times have you seen multiple major mainstream media outlets out an anonymous source? Basically, the only time that ever happens is when they feel that their sources burned them, screwed them over so bad that the reputation of the paper or news network would be damaged not to out the source. Usually, it has to be a deliberate and malicious lie, not just some casual misstatement or mistake for them to go, to go this far. Lanny Davis, he also interviewed with BuzzFeed, and told them that he lied last week on Anderson Cooper's CNN show when he was asked about this, and he denied being the source for CNN. He called it a mistake, and that he did not mean to be quote-unquote cute. He didn't mean to be cute with Anderson Cooper. I'm not even going to go and dig into that one. As you heard on that initial clip there with Sleepy Eyes Chuck Todd on MSNBC, when he was confronted that the congressional committees investigating Trump-Russia collusion asked if, in light of that CNN report, if Michael Cohen would need to amend his previous testimony that was given to Congress under oath, Michael Cohen said no, meaning he is standing by his original testimony that Trump did not know. So what makes this story a colossal case of fake news is that in spite of the Washington Post, the New York Post, BuzzFeed, etc., all coming out and saying Lanny Davis lied and that it can't be corroborated that Michael Cohen claims he knows Trump knew about the Trump Tower meeting before it happened, on top of the now known fact that Cohen is standing by his original congressional testimony, CNN is not retracting the story and instead has doubled down and stands by it. Let's go through it one more time. All the other news outlets like NBC, the Washington Post, etc. that were citing reporting by CNN in their stories, and we now know we're using Lanny Davis as their the source, the guy they were calling to confirm the CNN report. Well, we now know from Lanny Davis that he was CNN's source. So we have another case, just like with the Russian dossier. I mean, this is how the Clintons work, where Chris Steele was the original source and then went around to all the media and they were citing him as a second source to confirm the previous reporting, which he was the source for. So Lanny Davis, here again, we have double sourcing the story by hiding behind the CNN anonymous source citation. The whole thing was a Lanny Davis fabrication. And now that he took everything back, the whole story's crumbled like a house of cards. The whole media that was involved in reporting that story, they're now running away from it like it's a stink bomb. But CNN is left there, all alone, holding the bag, standing firm, even after their primary source has come out and admitted it was all a lie. His client, Michael Cohen, has told Congress he doesn't need to amend his testimony and he still stands behind it, pretty much putting an end to the underlying story having any chance of being true, as Cohen would have to recount his sworn testimony and also face a charge of felony perjury. Now, as Lanny Davis is Cohen's lawyer, he knows full well the consequences. It's almost as if Michael Cohen, what is he, still working for Trump after all? You can't make this stuff up. Lanny Davis has single-handedly destroyed his own client's credibility and usefulness as a witness for the prosecution going forward. No prosecutor could ever use him on the stand now, no matter what happens. The case against Trump, even if one existed, it's pretty much unworkable now, as the witness that the media hung all their hopes and prayers on is effectively useless. There are only two possible explanations for this dumpster fire. Either Lanny Davis is the dumbest lawyer in the Washington, New York Acela corridor, which I don't believe for a minute. I mean, this guy's been around the block a few times. Or two, this is a deliberate ploy. I mean, if it's deliberate, which it must be if you don't think Lanny Davis is stupid, he deliberately undermined any chance at making a Russia collusion case against Trump using Michael Cohen. By dangling Cohen with a guilty plea on some minor matter, campaign finance, he's more or less painted the special counsel Mueller into a corner. Why would he do this? It only benefits Trump, though I suppose in some backward way it helps his client in that I guess now there's no real reason to squeeze him going forward if he'd be of no use on the witness stand. The only thing that makes any sense in why Lanny Davis would let this lie sit out there a whole month and then expose himself and his client like this only after the prosecutors are finished with his client after his guilty plea on the minor charges in, I mean, that's the only possible explanation. That's all for this New Unrealist. Like the video, comment, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell to keep up with the new content. Now, if you're on BitChute, subscribe to my new channel on there. We just crossed 100 subs on BitChute. Let's pump that up into the thousands. If you want to take a more direct role in supporting the channel, follow the Patreon link below if that's your inclination. Thanks for watching.